I believe for years, and I've been doing this work for 45 years, I've also struggled deeply over the years with depression. And I believe for years that if you just did the right thing, you ate right and you exercised and you took your meds from your doctor, if you have doctor meds, or you took your amino acids for depression and you meditated and I thought for years that we could master depression. I thought that if we did all the right things, our lifestyle, meds, amino acids, meditation, prayer, etc., that we could really eradicate depression for the rest of our lives. And I have found in my case, and probably about 25% of my clients that have come to me to help with depression, that we may never ever get rid of it. So we need to learn how to live with it, and living with it. I'm going to say it, the number one thing when you have depression and you've been working on it for years with your doctor and professionals, and I'm talking about years, that you've really put the work in, you've done your own research, you've tried all different kind of modalities and it doesn't work. The very first thing we have to do is we have to decrease the amount that we talk about depression. And this is called depression as my identity. When we have depression and we bring it up, right? Well, I'd love to go to a movie, but it's hard during the week because my depression really sets in. I'd love to go fishing with on Saturday, but I'm weekends I just need to relax because the depression gets pretty intense. Now I really couldn't go to that play. It starts at 8 o'clock, and with depression it's just not good to be up late. I mean, if we create that identity, which one many of my clients have in the past, and we've helped them shatter it, it's almost impossible to even see minimal or maximal changes in your depressive experiences. If we're constantly talking about it, if we're constantly saying, "Oh my God," and this depression is getting worse, and my mom and dad had depression, and my grand, that identity will kill us. That identity will kill any chance of us giving ourselves an opportunity to live a great life. I really feel I have a great life, but I also am living with depression. And it can be triggered. The number one trigger is workaholism. When I get into a workaholic mode, it isn't more than 30, 60, 90 days down the road that I'll start to feel overwhelmed, depressed. And one of the signs for me with depression is when I procrastinate. If I start procrastinating on tasks that I say I'm going to do, I know that there's depression lurking or it's already here. So I have to be super careful of my time, right? I do really watch when I go to sleep. My sleep routine is as perfect as I can make it. Of course, I exercise, I eat really clean, I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. But, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how clean I live. The pressures of society, the pressures of money, the pressures of the politics, the pressures, can start to get to all of us. And if we had depression when we were growing up as kids, or we had a mom or a dad with depression, it's really easy just to sort of keep it going. So that's number one. And it's maybe one of the biggest changes we can make. And you can do so by asking, like, a very close friend or a partner, listen, when I start talking about depression, just say the word orange. Orange is a safe word. Orange doesn't mean anything in regards to depression, but the person will go, "Oh, right, okay, I'm talking too much about depression." Because if you say to a friend or a lover, "Hey, you're talking too much about depression, you said you weren't going to," the person could get defensive, right? It would make sense. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm depressed? Oh, I'm not. I'm just talking. I'm just venting. That's what professionals are for. When you have depression long term, that's what professionals are crucial for. That's what your doctor is crucial for. Now, there's a lot of controversy about genetics and depression, and the closest I can come to saying is that if you have the exact right genes, just happen to be perfectly lined up next to each other for depression, you could have a genetically based depression. But most doctors, psychiatrists that I know that I've interviewed over the years say that, to have a depression that's purely genetic is pretty rare. Now, if you drink, that's just going to deepen the depression because alcohol is a depressant, right? So we really have to watch that. And then we look at, what do we watch? What do we listen to? What do we read? Who do we hang out with? We already talked about who we hang out with in regards to talking. Are we hanging out with other depressed people, or do we hang out with people who have other problems and we all get together and talk about our crap? That's something you've got to really watch if you want to learn to live on a healthier level with depression. Now, I'm going to say that 85% of my time now, I am depression free. It lurks in the background, and all I have to do is trigger it, by workaholism. And there's other things too, but that's the main one. And then I can start to feel it come on. So I've recreated my day. The more, here's number three. Tip number three is going to be your morning routine. Making sure you're not watching the news, you're not reading social media, you're not reading any kind of nonsense that's going to irritate you. The first hour of every day, I think for the world, but especially for someone who's battling with depression, It's got to be filled with goodness. It has to be filled with greatness. Whether that's prayer, meditation, if it's exercise, whatever it is, deep breathing routines, reading scripture, reading a motivational book. As long as in the morning you're starting without electronics, without news, without social media, you will have a good chance to start to learn what I've taken 45 years to learn, is that I may never get rid of my depression, but I can learn how to live really, really well with it. And the morning routine to me is crucial. I've extended mine so much because it brings so many benefits, right? And then at night, making sure that we're not watching things that are emotionally disturbing on TV, or we're not arguing on social media or something like that, because that's going to stir up those feelings of depression, right? Listen, if depression involves self-harm or harming others or whatever that might fall into that category, and you're not under a doctor's care, please get under a doctor's care. There are many physicians I've worked with clients over the years where I've said to the physician, can we try 90 days of an antidepressant with this person? And if it starts to really help, we'll keep them on, and if it doesn't, I mean, most doctors are very open to trying things. So let's go that route. If it's that deep, if it's interfering with life, if you have no sexual drive, if you have no intimate drive, that could be sign of depression as well. If you're overeating, sign of depression. Any addiction at all could be that we're trying to cover up our depression. Let's learn how to live with it in healthy ways. And the last thing I'm going to say is I love YouTube. YouTube has great videos on depression. It has great frequency music videos that will help to break up depression, lift moods, etc. And then also amino acids like tyrosine, dopamine, GABA, phenomenal in regards to how they can help people live with depression and live happily even with depression. Okay, so if you need help, God, I had to battle myself to learn all this, and I've been helping others for 45 years. Reach out to me at talkdavid.com. We even have specials going on right now, discounts financially because of inflation. 5 free books at the website, talkdavid.com. Remember this. The series of videos I'm doing is called The Mental Cleanse with David Essel. When you cleanse your mind, you cleanse your life. My deepest, darkest struggles with depression are hopefully over with. I feel they are. My lifestyle has changed dramatically over the last 20 years, 25 years. I've added so many things, breathing techniques and more meditation and more spiritual reading and a lot of journaling, and it's helped me immensely. When you cleanse your mind, you cleanse your life. You're worth it. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.